In the 1970s, this story begins inside a casino. The waiter seems to be up to something as he collects a rich man's fingerprint to get inside an elevator. There, he finds a secret safe, treating himself to an apple while he waits for it to crack. He copies some files inside before he's interrupted by a bunch of guards who catch him. He beats them all up with ease, using his martial arts skills, and manages to keep the apple intact. One guard throws a grenade at him, but he sends it back using kung fu. He parachutes his way out and lands on a yacht, revealing himself to be Dragon. Richard, Dragon. Later on, at an island mansion, the man from the casino is informed that his France facility was compromised, and information regarding something called the Gate was stolen. The man appears to be some kind of sadistic monster as he eats a mouse while feeding a woman to a bunch of snakes. Meanwhile, Dragon arrives at a club in Gotham claiming to be friends with the owner. The bouncer threatens to fight him using his karate. Dragon tells him to take the fight in the alley before tricking him and locking him up. Meanwhile, Bruce Wayne is at the top of the building going through a breakup with Silver because he won't share his secret with her. He recognizes Dragon, who visits him before having a flashback from the past. He climbed a mountain seeking training in a hidden temple, where he is greeted by O-sensei, who starts dropping wisdom as soon as they meet. He's escorted to Nanda Parbat, where he will become the sixth student to go through the rigorous training. Shiva is the best student and gets to work in training, showing what she's capable of. Ben Turner is a student with some temper issues. Jade is always asking too many questions.
Never wanted a son.
You ask too many questions.
Rip is a war hero seeking peace. Finally, there's Dragon. Bruce notices a door away from the rest of the buildings that O-sensei ignores. He's given one final chance to leave, but he proceeds. Fast forward to today, someone is in possession of the gate and Dragon asks for Bruce's help, but he says he's busy. Dragon knows that Bruce is Batman and needs him because he trusts him, exposing his shady operation and claiming they owe it to someone. Batman becomes convinced and Dragon explains that a terrorist group got their hand on the gate. A week later, they were all dead. Suddenly, there is an attack at the club and Bruce fights ninjas alongside Dragon that are straight out of Mortal Kombat. A candle breezes by Bruce, giving him another flashback. He is back in training with the group around a fire. They are instructed to punch stone until it breaks. After a while, the girls have enough and leave. After more time, Rick leaves, followed by Ben. Eventually, only Bruce continues the path with resolve. His hands are bleeding, but only he remains. O-sensei emerges from the shadows. He'd been watching them and only Bruce had passed the test. He warns Bruce that some things cannot be changed and to stop with the task, but Bruce continues anyway. Then we're back in the present time. There are more ninjas and they surround Dragon. Suddenly, the lights are cut off and Batman arrives and gets to business. The matter is over in seconds. Meanwhile, Jeffrey preaches about the snake with a deep fascination for it. He's called by his right-hand man and informed that the Axe Gang has failed and that their problem is bigger than they thought. The Axe Gang is killed for failing to stop Bruce and Dragon, and they cruise around the city to find answers. Bruce ignores questions about Batman and stresses the importance of getting to the sword before anyone else, but they will need the help of Shiva. They arrive at Chinatown before getting yet another flashback. O-sensei presents them with Soulbreaker, one of two legendary swords that were made centuries ago. Shiva was chosen to guard the sword, but Jade disapproved of the decision, claiming Rip or anyone else was more fit for the responsibility. O-sensei pits Rip against Shiva, where the winner gets the sword, but Shiva is only allowed to use one finger to protect herself. She uses it well and beats Rip with ease. Back in the present time, Shiva is now the head of organized crime in Chinatown, known for her ruthlessness and temper. She is running an illegal underground fighting circuit, and one of the fighters cheats his way to victory. She disapproves and fights him for dishonoring her house, embarrasses him, and goes full Matrix on him before finally killing him. She chucks two throwing stars towards Bruce and Dragon, taking out two ninjas behind them. The right-hand man arrives with a group of bad guys and they begin fighting all over the place. Shiva gets to work taking them out and Dragon asks Bruce to put on the mask, exposing his identity as Batman. As they are distracted, the bad guys steal the sword and get away. They chase after them, dispatching the ninjas on the way, but suddenly the police are after them. They outmaneuver the police and get away before Shiva ejects her seat and hijacks a bike. They continue the chase, soaring their way back onto the highway, while Shiva decapitates a ninja before taking another one out. The car is suddenly lifted into the air by a chopper and the bad guys escape. But our valiant heroes will not quit and decide to get to bed. In another flashback, everyone is eating together and they ask O-sensei about the forbidden door. He finally reveals to them that it is a place where all destinies converge, before quickly changing the subject. Ben goes for more rice, but Bruce has taken the last of it. He slaps it away from Bruce and triggers him by mentioning his dead parents, which starts a fight between them. Ben beats him up, but Bruce is far from done. They continue to fight and Bruce gets another beating handed to him, but he still won't back down. He's beaten again but gets back up again. Finally, Ben seems to respect his heart and determination and the two become friends over the beating he just ate. In the present time, Ben has opened up a karate dojo and is comforting a kid, guiding him to believe in himself. The gang arrives to reunite with him and tells him that the bad guys have found the gate as well as the sword, and he joins them. In another flashback, the students talk about the secret door before they sleep, except for Bruce, who thinks it's a distraction. They wake up to screams in the middle of the night and find Jade and Rip missing, alongside Soulbreaker. Rip has killed Jade over the sword, revealing his true motives from the very beginning. He believes a god is on the other side of the gate, but O-sensei says it is a demon, one that requires a sacrifice, and the sword acts as the key. Rip opens the gate, but he's repaid the favor by being devoured by serpents. They fight the serpents until a portal begins to open, revealing some form of giant snake. They work together to defeat the serpents, and O-sensei sacrifices himself to close the door before screaming from the other side. Dragon weeps over him and the building collapses before the gate is blocked. Years later, the evil organization gets to the gate, and children are transported to be sacrificed. The gang gets on a plane to get to the gate and discuss how they will get inside the fortified island. Ben reveals a series of underground tunnels that lead to the gate, admitting he revisited the island before. After O-sensei's death, he had some issues to work out. He did that by fighting crime and came across a cobra symbol identical to the one Rip had. It is the symbol of the Cobra cult. He kept digging into it and fought the cult all over the world, becoming a boogeyman to them, earning the name Bronze Tiger. The cult believes in a great messiah that will become the avatar of their snake god, Jeffrey Byrne. Ben got to the gate to kill him, only to find out that it is just a little boy, so he was unable to kill him. Instead, he went back home and started helping out kids. The team gears up, and Dragon stresses the importance that Bruce becomes Batman in this fight. They all dive out of the plane and land through the tunnel opening and get moving. The right-hand man knows they're there and turns his hands into snakes to fight them. Shiva chops one off, but it just grows back, and the severed hand becomes a serpent on its own. They stop using blades and fight with their hands. Batman tells them to go ahead while he and Ben deal with the situation. Jeffrey makes his way to release Naga, the snake god. The children are presented to be sacrificed, but Shiva and Dragon step in before they are harmed. It is an all-out war with the ninjas. Dragon turns into Bruce Lee to take out the ninjas. Only two henchmen remain, and a funky fight breaks out between them. Jeffrey grabs one of the kids while they are distracted. Batman and Ben continue to fight the right-hand man before they finally defeat him. Or do they? They continue to rise until finally, Ben sets them ablaze, revealing fire to be their weakness. Shiva takes on the woman, breaking her sword with her hand before killing her. Meanwhile, Dragon struggles in his fight. He realizes that his foe is fighting using his hearing sense, so he becomes silent and overwhelms his hearing sense to get the drop on him and defeat him. The children are released, except for one, but Batman steps in and saves him. There are no more sacrifices and no more men for Jeffrey. Desperate and out of options, he sacrifices himself to open the gate and release the snake. The portal opens and the demon is released, but they're surprised to see O-sensei walking out. He attacks Dragon, having been taken over by the demon, who reveals himself as Naga. He warns them of his hordes that will come through to take over the world, before overwhelming them with his incredible speed and power. He takes Dragon out, then Ben, then Shiva. Only Batman remains. He uses smoke bombs to disappear and uses his stealth to crack Naga's neck, but he rises again as if nothing happened. Dragon rises as well to face him alone after Batman has been ragdolled. Naga says that he needs an avatar that is powerful enough to hold the Great Serpent, and it is revealed that the chosen avatar has always been Dragon. But Dragon believes if he is powerful enough to hold him, he is powerful enough to defeat him. They fight, and both grow with power, Dragon versus Dragon. Batman intervenes and tries to help, but Naga grabs the sword. Realizing what he must do, Dragon drives Soulbreaker inside of Naga, releasing his soul back into the portal. O-sensei is back alive, but only for a minute to admire his students before passing away. They still need to close the gate, and they argue about who will sacrifice himself, but Batman has gone ahead already inside, and they all follow him. The gate closes on them, and they prepare to face the demon army together to end the threat, but the movie leaves us on this cliffhanger. Aside from this horrific crime of a cliffhanger, this was the best animated DC movie that we have ever seen. It was a mixture of a James Bond film, a martial arts flick, and a funky kung fu comedy. It had all the fun elements from all of them and created a one-of-a-kind comic book movie that we've never seen before. We loved it. Well, this brings us to the end of today's video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel to get more videos like this one. Your support helps us grow. And tell me what you think about this film. Did you love the funky vibe to it that felt like a 70s detective movie? Were you upset with the ending and were left craving for more? Let me know in the comments below. I read all of them. And if you're watching till now, thank you. I'll see you in another video soon.